So I'll speak about the Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict, the Karabakh issue, and the relations between Armenia and Azerbaijan, 1820. When I researched this, yes, I need to look into the roots. We need to look into roots, but try to shortly cover the long-term conflict, the longest conflict. I want to see its roots. In the beginning of the 19th century, South Caucasus was occupied by Russia, and which led to serious changes in the structure. In the beginning of the 19th century, Russians tried to create the social ethnic support in the face of Armenians in the Caucasus. Armenians started to be resettled in a mass way to Nagorno-Karabakh, and these are the roots of the conflict, which date back to that period. In the Southern Caucasus, in 1805, the Karabakh Khanate was occupied, then later it was abolished on its territory. The Karabakh province, the also called Muslim province, was created in 1940. This territory, the Shusha Gaza a small province, was established, which was put into the Khazar province. Later, the Elizabeth province acquired this area, and then the new two Gazas were created, Javanshir and Shusha Gazas. So, the historical, on the territory of the historical Karabakh territory, Shusha, Zangezur, Javanshir, and Jabrail provinces were established. Jabrail, Karagin. Administrative setup of Karabakh existed in 1921, and in the 1917, when it was a temporary government, the Fagazas Yazavapol, the Special Transcaucasian Commissariat, was ruling it, and later, during the Republic of Azerbaijan, the Gazas again were in the framework of the Ganja province. Population of the region, statistic information in 19th century. The first statistic information we can see from the Karabakh map. This is the records of the Karabakh province. On the Karabakh Khanate area, there were 600 villages, 450 they were Muslim villages, Azeri Turks, where Azeri Turks lived, and 150 are Armenian villages. About population, more than 20,000 population, 15,000, over the 15,000 was Azeri Turks, and 4,366 were Christian Armenians, which made 21% of the population. During the war with Russia, Karabakh in 1826, 18,000 Armenian families were resettled to Karabakh. These resettled Armenians were resettled from the Karadagh, Khoy, Salmaz, and the name of that village was given to the village that they created in the Karabakh area. You can see from this slide. Armenians moved from Marakha. In order to celebrate 100th of the anniversary, they made this monument. In 1926-27, as a result of the Second Russian War, as a result of the Turkmenchai Agreement, Ermeni province, Yerevan, and Nakhchivan, Khanates, and Karabakh, according to official information, more than 40,000 Armenians were resettled, and 8,249 families, about 7,000 to Armenian province, and the rest to Karabakh and Zangezur. Again, after the Turkmenchai Agreement, according to the Dina Agreement, according to its Article 13, Karabakh area, Armenians were continued to be resettled to the Karabakh area, and in general, 90,000 Armenians were resettled, which meant 14,000 families. More than 4,000 to Armenian province, and the rest to Karabakh. All this resettlement, all this move was during the three Russian-Turkish wars, and in the beginning of the 20th century, these resettlements continued. We'll again look back to the statistic information. In 1897, according to the census in Russia, Yelizavetpol province had 4 Karabakh provinces: Cebrail, Javanshir, Zengezur, and Shusha Gazaz. Overall, the number of population, despite all the resettlements, the majority of the population was Azerbaijani Turks. Only in one Gaza, in Shusha Gaza, this the mountainous area of Karabakh, Armenians were a little bit more, 53% of the population. So we can make a conclusion of this. Despite all these resettlements, the majority of Karabakh were Azerbaijani Turks in population of the 20th century. So, all Russian official statistics, archive statistics, prove this. So, in 1916, the Caucasus calendar, the population of the Karabakh were 242,000 of Armenians, 322,000 Azeri Turks. 57% of the population was Azeri Turks. So, this is information from the Great Britain Foreign Ministry, political intelligence. In 1918, there was such information that solving the Armenian issue should be taken into account that it's a center not in the Caucasus, but in the small Asia. It's in south. They were refugees were brought by Russians, and they used them against Georgians and Tatars. So, the Karabakh conflict, actually, after the collapse of Russian Empire, was linked to the big geopolitical changes. In 1920, we take the population of the region. They broke the overall life of the populations and the countries in these regions, and the situation in Karabakh proved this. In 1918, in the Karabakh region, Armenia turned Azerbaijan is one of the areas for territorial claims, trying to get their cleaned territories. They made terrorists and so on. 28th of May 1918, declared Azerbaijan as independent, and they also declared the independence of Armenia, and the same day they had the territorial claims to Azerbaijan. And laid the basis for the Armenian-Azerbaijan conflict. As a result of this conflict, Dashnak Armenians tried to get the Karabakh out of Azerbaijan. And in 1918-1920, the leading countries, Great England, America, US, and Russia had a very tense geopolitical tension. And the epicenter of this struggle was Baku and the Baku oil. But in the regions, other countries with interests, Zengezur, Karabakh, Nakhchivan, the Armenians claims to this, they abuse these claims to keep their influence and stop Azerbaijan to grow strong. The first months of independence, the issue of liberating Baku, they resettled Armenians to Karabakh. They convened the Congress in 1920 and tried to create the administrative government. But starting from summer 1920, the Azerbaijani government could not disarm Armenians because during the First World War, volunteer Armenians fighting against the Ottoman government started to be active, and in June, Andranik Azayan, by means of the Iranian territory, crossed Julfa and entered Nakhchivan. And did massacres in Nakhchivan and entered Zarngazur. And 1918, in summer and spring month, during a few months, according to the Emergency Research Commission, 115 villages in Zangezur were destructed. More than 50,000 people had to flee this place. The government of Azerbaijan tried to get the control back in Karabakh. Shusha, Aghdam, Jabrail, the Turkish officers as heads were appointed there, but they did not accept this, and the Armenians did not accept and continued their terror tactics. To prevent tension in the region, October 18, Turkish forces entered Shusha and Jamil Javad Bey guaranteed their properties and demanded their surrender. Again, the Armenian Congress, the Fifth Congress, as a result of which, they acknowledged the Azerbaijani government, that they accepted and promised to get disarmed. And on the 19th of October, in the Azerbaijani newspaper, there was an article, the Armenians will be disarmed in the Armenian part of Shusha. Despite this peaceful, the Andranik troops started attack and perished. Massacres and genocide in Karabakh, and as a result of which the Turkish troops, when they left in 1918, in the second part of November, the British took over the control in Karabakh. We have to finish Nigar. And short, I want to say, in December 1918, the Karabakh region, the military aggression expanded, and Colonel Hibban made a short escort to Shusha by the Great Britain military mission, and General Thompson, with his initiative, the British Muslim Armenian delegation was sent. But despite all this, General Thompson wrote to Andranik to disarm. Despite this fact, it was resultless, and the British made an agreement on, actually decided to create the province, and Khosrow Sultanov was appointed as the governor of Karabakh. It was an official appointment, and at the same time, the British general governor, or the British commandant, the British officer, represented Armenian and Muslim representatives, but the main decision-making was with the British officer. The general governor. got salaries from the Azerbaijani treasury, and it should have been agreed with the British commandment and the Armenian leaders and government. They should not react to it, and the Karabakh conflict was promised to be solved in the Paris conference. Despite all these steps, the situation was really tense in Karabakh. As you know, the British troops in June 1919 left Karabakh, and the representation remained until August. Having the Britain or the British mission in Karabakh was really important because the facts on genocide in Karabakh could not get from the documents of the Emergency Council. The British representatives so we can get this information from the British diplomats, the reports that they wrote. Armenians who did this genocide, so you can find this information from the documents, British documents. You can see the atrocities against people.
Davranıldılar erməni quldur dəstələri. Çox qısa danışmaq üçün onu da deyim ki, yəni Dağlıq Qarabağda erməni əhalisinin və onun liderlərinin deməli Britaniya komandanlığı dövründə qısa bir müddətdə deməli 1919-cu ilin avqustun 15-də bu erməni
So it's too difficult to comprehend what is said. So they announced that they acknowledged the government of Azerbaijan, which remained for some time. It was the only document for regulation the relations between Azerbaijanis and Armenians. It took force once it was agreed. The temporary agreement of the Armenians of Nagorno-Karabakh was influenced by the great countries of the world. Askel, the head of the alliance troops, said that Karabakh and Zangezur shall be returned to Azerbaijan. Then between Armenia and Azerbaijan, the peace agreement was signed, but once this agreement was signed, Azerbaijani troops withdrew as troops, and from that day, the Armenian side started the fight. And in Zangezur, for a short period of time, hundreds of Azerbaijani villages were destructed. The next stage was in March 1920, the Armenian armed forces we should finish Nigar. And our Armenians attacked Karabakh. It was in a very short period. It was the Nowruz holidays, and from the 22nd to 33rd, they could get Askeran, but the central government sent 20,000 of troops. And the 2nd of April, Askeran and the road to Shusha were liberated, and even they went to liberate Zangezur. But the 27th of April, as we know, the Soviet Union, its 11th Red Army, occupied Azerbaijan, and the First Azerbaijan Democratic Republic ceased to exist.
Buna baxmayaraq deməli bu
Despite this fact,
Ermənistan-Azərbaycan münaqişəsi
Armenia-Azerbaijan
baxmayaraq
conflict, the decision was made in the Paris Peace Conference, and Azerbaijan de facto was, but it didn't give anything to the Republic of Azerbaijan because the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict drained the force of Azerbaijan, and the 11th Red Army Mugavimet could not resist, and the Republic of Azerbaijan collapsed. The terror tactics against Azerbaijan, the genocide tactics against Azerbaijan still continues, and in this end of the 20th century, the beginning of the 20th century, Karabakh territory, the war still continues, and any time it can be ignited because the territories are not still in the composition of Azerbaijan.